Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be creating a project in Unreal in version 5.0 or later. So this is pretty simple. This is kind of an updated create a project video. I've had some people have some issues where they're getting errors because the Visual Studio integration plugin isn't there, and they're seeing the errors and they're getting a little confused, thinking that something is really wrong when it's not necessarily. So in between the last time I made a creating a project video and now they've got the Visual Studio integration plugin. And what that does is it basically kind of connects up Visual Studio with the editor so the Visual Studio can see, like, for example, how many blueprints are deriving from one of your C++ classes and things like that. It doesn't really affect your game logic or any of that sort of stuff, but in order to clear the errors, you have to have the plugin in. So in this video, I go through, where to get the plugin, how to install it, and all of that stuff. And then also, your basic creating a UE5 project. So it's should be a quick video. Hopefully that solves some of the errors that people are having and it helps them out a bit. So with that being said, let's get started and get over into making our new project. So here we are in the Epix Games launcher, and we're in the marketplace. So the first thing we want to get is that Visual Studio integration tool. So we type in Visual, and we go to Visual Studio integration tool, and then this is what you're looking for right here. Now this is put out by Microsoft, so it helps connect Visual Studio with, like, the Unreal editor, basically. So this is why you're getting some like weird errors when you're going into Visual Studio, and this should fix that up. So it's super easy to put in. All you got to do is click install the engine, and you install it to the engine that you want to put it in. So or you're going to be using. So like if you're using 5.0, 5.1, etc., you just pick what you want. I'm going to get a notification here letting me know that I've already got it installed to all of my compatible engines, which means like I've already done it. So you should, for the first time, you should get some options down here, and then you just select where you want it to go. Okay, so that's pretty simple. Like I said, all you gotta just go get the plugin, and then once you start your project, you'll have to enable the plugin. So as far as starting a project, you can go up here and hit launch to launch the engine. You can also go into your library, and if you've got multiple versions, you can pick which version you want to start in. Also, I would advise, keeping an eye out. Because if I were to start a project in 4.27, you see right here, my integration tool needs updated here. Same thing, I think, over here, because I'm using Substance 3D, so that one needs upgraded as well. So that's super easy to fix. I'm gonna go ahead and launch in 5.1, my current version. So I'm gonna go ahead and launch that now, and then pause the video while that loads up. Okay, so now we're in the project browser for 5.1, and it's going to give me here, like I'll see all of my older projects. I can, still load those up. It'll show what version they are. If it says current, that means the engine that you're using is the one that it's the same. So that works out. If you try to open up, if I try to open up this one, it'll try to get me to upgrade that project, and that's not what I'm trying to do today. So we're just going to keep on going, and we're creating a new project anyway. So you got some options over here in these tabs. Obviously games is what we're primarily focused on, but Unreal is used for a lot of other things as well, such as architecture. They've got some interesting videos on that. Basically the idea is, you bring a house in and you're an architect and you want to say, hey, this is what your carpet would look like if it's a different type of carpet, and yada yada, that sort of thing. And then I guess they use it in automotive design as well. Obviously they use it in film and video. I mean, everybody's seen like, The Mandalorian and stuff. So, it's pretty cool stuff. Not stuff I'm into. So, you'd have to find somebody else's video on what to do with that. But they do have basic templates in for each of these as well. So like I said, we're doing games. You've got some templates up here, and basically the templates will give you some like starter content, some stuff to like work from. So like the first person's going to give you a first person character and a projectile. You can shoot little balls around. And then a third person's going to give you a third person character that can run around and jump and that sort of thing. And then there's, obviously a top down, a vehicle, handheld AR, which I haven't honestly messed with that a whole lot. I don't do a lot of augmented reality, so and then virtual reality as well. So those are your basic templates. I usually pick the blank one for almost all of my tutorials, unless I otherwise specify. It's gonna be a blank project in C++. So, because we can add this stuff later at any point, and I'll show that once I get the project all running. The next thing is your defaults. I usually choose C++ here. You can add C++ later, but I feel like it's kind of clunky. I just like having it ready to go when I start, so I almost always hit C++. Even if you're going to do a blueprint project, you can still enable this, and then it's just available for you if you need to dive down and like add some additional logic that you had to do custom that isn't in blueprint already. Then the other thing down here is your target platform and your presets. I would just leave these as default. Again, you can change any of this stuff later. And then starter content is the same kind of thing. Starter content is going to give you, some materials, and it's going to give you like some blocks and, like just basic placeable meshes, stuff that you can, like look at. And I think it gives you a level as well, to show off all the stuff. I almost never use the starter content, but it is there for you if you want it. The next thing down here is your project location. That's where your source folders are going to be put. You want to make sure that's where you want it in the first place. And then your project name. Changing a project name after you've created a project is a bit of a pain. I generally don't like to do that. Maybe eventually I'll make a video on how to do that, but it's not fun. It's not like impossible, but it's just not an enjoyable process to me. So I usually try to make sure I get a project name that's going to be good for going forward. Other than that, that's pretty much all that is here. All you have to do is, once you've selected the settings that you want, is to go ahead and hit create, and it's going to start your editor. It's going to load Visual Studio, and it's going to do the do. For me, usually the first time I load a project, because I'm using Rider, or not Rider, but ReSharper, it takes a little while for it to index. So I'm going to pause the video once I hit create and then catch back up once everything's loaded up. Okay, now everything's loaded up and my project has started. While I was loading everything up, I closed down Visual Studio, and then I tried to enter my game mode base here, so I could kind of generate the error. So right now I don't have the Visual Studio integration in, so it's gonna fail here. So if you notice, this is the output log for the integration logging. That's what just starts up as being there. So that's why that's failing, is because there is no integration there, and it's looking for that integration to be there. It doesn't really affect your source code at all, or your game logic, so to speak. It's really just the integration between the two. So it's just that plugin. Now to kind of go over like the things that we're getting from our basic project, we have our content folder, which is obviously empty. We haven't put anything in it. And then we have our C++ classes and our runtime library down here. So pretty simple, got all that squared away. in order to get rid of this error right here, we're going to need to turn on that plugin. So I'll go ahead and exit Visual Studio, let that do that. And while it's doing that, I can go to Edit and Plugins and search for that Visual Studio Integration Tools right here. So I click that, and then it's going to require a restart for the editor. And I say, yeah, no big deal, let's do that. And then it will restart the editor. And I will pause it while it is loading up. Okay, now I've restarted. Everything went through just fine. Now when I go ahead and I try to go into one of my C++ classes, that should clear that error. So I'll go ahead and load that up. And then let that generate through. I'm not going to pause the video so you can see it do the starting up process here. So it's going to continue going through, and in the end, I should get no major errors anyway. And looks like it's just about done there. Yeah. So I've got execution of commandlet took like 0.34 seconds, and it's done. So now I don't have an error. Okay, so that solves that problem. So if you're running into that, hopefully that should help you out a bit. As far as additionally, like going over some of the stuff, I said before that you can add content at any time. All you have to do is go to your content folder and hit add, and then go up to feature or content pack, and that's going to give you access to like the standard templates and stuff that Epic has. So you're going to have like, your first person, third person, all the stuff that we saw before. Okay. And you got some different flavors here. So this is all Blueprint. So it'll just give you a Blueprint version of whatever you're picking here. And then in C++, this will give you a C++ version. So it does the same thing, except this will be done in C++ code rather than in Blueprints. And then also there's the content here, which is the starter content. That's the only thing that's available there. And that's, all of this stuff gives you a little bit of like things to play with. And that's pretty much it. Just to add, all you got to do is pick what you want to do, hit add to project, and it goes super fast, pops it right in, and everything works out good. So hopefully that helped, with any issues people were having loading up new projects. The integration tool came out in between when I made my last, create a project video and now. So I made this updated video for the folks that were running into the error and, having, a bit of crisis trying to figure out what's going on. So hopefully that helped you. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, ideas, things you'd like me to see me do, drop it in the comments. I'm usually pretty good about getting to the comments. If you run into any errors, same thing, let me know, and I'll see what I can do for you. And do all the YouTube stuff, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a great day.